Valheim veterans know that eating food and finding the optimal food while you progress through its many diverse biomes is critical to your success. In most survival games, food and the maintenance of your hunger is an absolute chore. Valheim flips this formula on its head. This game disposes of the hunger mechanic altogether in favor of something much more interesting. In fact, you won't take damage and certainly will never die from lack of food. Stick with me and I will guide you to food salvation. In this video, I will cover the optimal foods to use in each biome, where to find the food ingredients, and how to prepare and cook each food. But before we get into the first biome, let's cover the basics of the food and cooking mechanics in Valheim. As mentioned, Valheim does not have a hunger mechanic, leaving you safe from starvation. However, food does provide critical benefits. Every food source provides a buff to either your max stamina, max health, or as you'll learn in the Mistlands section of this video, a third attribute buff. Each food will contain a denotation with a colored fork indicator of which attribute it primarily supports. A red fork for health, a yellow fork for stamina, and a white fork for a balance. Your character in Valheim has only 3 limited slots for food to be eaten at any given time, making your choice of food even more important. And no, you can't eat 3 or even 2 of the same food at the same time. Like in life, you need a well-balanced diet. Each food will vary in its potency and duration. After eating, your max health and stamina will slowly decrease until the food is nearly digested, at which time the food icon in the bottom left of your screen will flash, indicating that your body is ready for more food. Eating again will replenish your buff corresponding to the food you ate, and the cycle repeats. And one last thing before we jump into the meadows. Some food can be eaten raw and some will require to be cooked. As you progress through the biomes, the ingredients for meals and the equipment used for cooking will become increasingly advanced. Stay tuned to get the full scoop of every single biome in Valheim. As for ingredients, your main source will be the wildlife found in the biome in the deer, boar, and neck. However, you will also need to find a beehive and scavenge for mushrooms and berries to obtain the full list of foods. Fortunately, the Meadows is simple, and for preparing your food, the only equipment you'll need is a fire and cooking station. You will use the cooking station for cooking the meat found from the deer, boar, and neck. In order, my top 5 foods in the Meadows are as follows: cooked deer meat, cooked boar meat, honey, cooked neck meat, and either raspberries or mushrooms. After each biome section, I will leave a full list of any mentioned foods on screen with their stats and corresponding recipes for reference. Feel free to pause the video here and read through the tables. My personal recommendation would be to eat a balanced diet of cooked deer meat, cooked boar meat, and honey. The Black Forest introduces the cauldron. The cauldron can be crafted following the acquisition of tin. The cooking station will still be required for cooking raw meat, but the cauldron expands your kitchen by allowing you to combine ingredients into more advanced food recipes. The Black Forest also introduces new ingredients we'll need to gather in order to make the optimal meals. Carrots can be planted and grown in the Meadows biome after finding carrot seeds scattered across the Black Forest floor. Thistle are easily spotted glowing sticks protruding from the ground, and blueberry bushes function like raspberry bushes, but only grow in the Black Forest. My top 5 foods for the Black Forest are the deer stew, carrot soup, queen's jam, minced meat sauce, and cooked fish. I leave cooked fish last as fish will be difficult to obtain. To catch fish, you first need the fishing rod, which can only be obtained by purchase from Haldor. Haldor can be found in the Black Forest, but there is no guarantee. Considering the restriction around fish, I recommend eating the carrot soup, queen's jam, and deer stew, as I prefer to focus more on stamina. If you prefer health, consider replacing the queen's jam with minced meat sauce, or if you're lucky to have fish, try cooked fish. The swamp introduces food recipes that require an upgraded cauldron and enhanced cooking station. Build the spice rack near your cauldron to upgrade its level, and once you acquire iron, you'll be able to build the iron cooking station. The first new ingredient introduced to the swamp is the turnip. Turnip seeds can be found by picking the yellow flowers in the biome for turnip seeds. From there, you can plant the turnip seeds in the meadows to grow turnips. All other ingredients introduced by the swamp come from the creatures that reside within it. Entrails from the deranged draugrs, ooze from the poisonous blobs or oozers, and blood bags from the slimy leeches. With these ingredients in hand, I recommend cooking turnip stew, sausages, black soup, and the muck shake. I should also mention that obtaining the iron in the swamp also enables the recipe for both cooked serpent meat and serpent stew. Both foods far exceed any of the previous foods I have mentioned, but are dependent on you having killed serpents while sailing on the ocean. These are exceedingly rare, and therefore it is unlikely you have an abundance of their meat. For this reason, I suggest combining the turnip stew, sausages, and muck shake, or replace the muck shake with black soup for increased health. Before we jump to the next biome, if you have learned something new, consider liking this video and hitting the subscribe button for quick access to more Valheim content. Now, onto the mountains. The mountains, like the swamp, introduces recipes that require an additional upgrade to the cauldron. Once you acquire silver, you can craft the butcher's table, bringing your cauldron level to 3. With your cooking equipment at the appropriate level, you can turn your attention to gathering the new ingredients introduced in the mountains. First, onion seeds, which are found in chests within abandoned structures in the mountains. Once acquired, you can start an onion farm in the Meadows biome to grow onions. Wolf meat is acquired from killing wolves, and freeze glands are provided to you from shooting down drakes flying overhead. Gathering these ingredients will allow you to cook the wolf skewer, ice cream, wolf jerky, cooked wolf meat, and onion soup. As usual, my preference would be to emphasize stamina with ice cream, onion soup, and adding health with the wolf skewer. However, if you want more health, swap the onion soup with cooked wolf meat or a nice balance with the wolf jerky. The plains once again requires an additional cauldron upgrade. Once you acquire black metal, you can build the pots and pans, bringing your cauldron to level 4. However, the plains recipes also introduce a requirement for baking to Valheim. Many of the recipes to follow will need to be baked in the stone oven prior to being available for eating. You will have unlocked the stone oven by defeating Modor in the mountains and crafting the artisan table from the dragon tier. With your equipment in place, your focus will be gathering barley from feuding villages. When you are ready, I do recommend starting a barley farm in the plains biome, as you will need a ton of barley for the remainder of the plains and into the Mistlands. Once you have barley, you will need to refine it into flour. Barley can be ground into barley flour with the addition of the windmill, which, like the stone oven, can be crafted after building the artisan table. The other ingredients you will need are cloudberries, found growing in abundance on the ground in the plains, and secondly, lox meat provided by the grazing lox. With all ingredients in hand, you can cook the blood pudding, lox meat pie, fish wraps, bread, and more simply, cooked lox meat. While all of these will be made at the cauldron, you will need to follow up by baking the lox meat pie and bread in an oven before they will be ready to eat. Chow down on blood pudding, bread, and lox meat pie to emphasize stamina, or replace the bread with fish wraps to enhance your health. Finally, the Mistlands. The Mistlands change things up entirely by introducing a new attribute that can also be enhanced by food. First, you will need to upgrade your cauldron one last time with the mortar and pestle once you find black marble, bringing your cauldron to level 5. Following that, you will have an abundance of ingredients to gather. First, mage caps and jotun puffs are vegetables grown on the floor of the Mistlands. I recommend starting a farm for these in the biome as soon as you can, as you will need plenty of these for cooking the best foods. Obtain seeker meat acquired from killing seekers, hare meat obtained from hunting hares, blood clots from killing ticks, royal jelly found in the Mistlands infested mines, sap extracted from ancient roots, an anglerfish which can only be caught in water within the Mistlands and requires misty fishing bait to successfully catch the fish, and lastly, chicken meat and eggs. Eggs and chicken meat are a little bit different. After defeating Yagluth, eggs become available for purchase at Haldor's shop. Once purchased, you can begin growing chickens and breeding them. If you keep the chickens fed, they will periodically produce eggs. And when you are ready, you can butcher them for chicken meat. With all these ingredients, let us get to cooking. For health, your top foods are the Mist Hare Supreme, honey glazed chicken, and the meat platter. For stamina, fish and bread, mushroom omelet, and salad. And finally, Eater. Eater is the new attribute added to the Mistlands and will allow you to cast spells with various staffs at your disposal. Eater works mechanically like health and stamina, and these 3 foods will increase your max: Seeker Aspic, Yggdrasil Porridge, and the Stuffed Mushroom. With all these options, make sure you check out the full list of Mistlands foods to make the right choice for you and your playstyle. That is it. Thanks for watching. Check out my full biome guides on screen if you are looking to learn more about how to best apply these foods in their corresponding biomes.